Bob and Slow Show, we're back with Justin Giddings, correct?
That is absolutely correct. You nailed it.
Ah, awesome. Justin, you are a filmmaker and financier from LA, correct?
Indeed.
Good stuff. What did you do first?
Actually, I did acting first. So I don't know if you've seen a little show called Shameless or Pretty Little Liars. Some other stuff out there. Little guest roles. I always describe my career as I work enough to get insurance from the Actors Union, and nobody knows who I am. That's the resume.
The insurance is worth it, I'm sure.
Right? No, fantastic. But then, a couple years ago, I got behind the camera. Kind of got tired of waiting for permission to be creative. Made my own stuff and got into crowdfunding, and that's where the financier piece also came in. Was I now help filmmakers get their funds raised on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and have been doing that for a while.
Wow.
Raised about $5 million.
Is there anyone that comes to you that you're like, I am not pushing your project. I cannot even condone what you want to do. Like,
I've had a few projects, a couple of hate groups come along wanting to make a documentary, and I'm like, no, this won't work.
I'm curious about something you just said, where you said you were tired of waiting for permission to be creative. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so particularly as an actor, although I think this is pretty universal to a lot of artists and content creators, but particularly as an actor, you're waiting for like 10 people to say yes, right? So your agent's assistant
Lawyers.
Submits you, your agent pitches you, then the casting assistant hears it, and then the casting director has to. I mean, like, there's a chain.
We got to run this by like 5 other people. Yeah, like just
right.
for you to
and
say a
it
word.
Got crazy. I got done waiting.
Yeah. So you made it on your own. I love it.
Yeah.
What's the biggest project you've fundraised for?
The biggest one would be, well, 2 recently. One was a documentary about the log lady from Twin Peaks. That was about $300,000, and then I just did a game, a tabletop RPG, cyberpunk, really cool little project about a month ago that was about $200,000 for.
Cool.
Wow.
For a PDF and stuff. It was really cool, man. People loved it.
Oh, it was like a print and play?
Yeah, it was a print and play.
Cool.
He's doing, he's got like swag and cool stuff connected to it. But actually, no, he's got some like really cool artists. Like, basically the project got so big that people started coming out of the woodwork and saying, I'd love to do some art on this. I'd love to do some writing on this. And he had expansion packs. So I think now he's going to actually deliver like some hard copy books and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it started out as, hey, what if I did a PDF, for this thing?
What's one of the hardest things about fundraising, and what is something that maybe like people miss the most? Like, I should be doing this, but I wasn't.
That's a good question. So I think the biggest thing is that people view crowdfunding as an ATM. Like, I'll just go throw my project up there, and if people see it, they'll give me money. It's not even that they're wrong. It's just the only part of that sentence that matters is the if people see it part. It's marketing. It's driving traffic to a website. It's having an audience. It's building up an engaged fan base.
Sorry, Justin. My finger slipped and I hit the music. I'm so sorry.
I think what I was saying was so powerful that it just elicited this creative.
Yeah.
Ludacris had to start rhyming.
Ludacris is like, this dude is on fire. I'm in. So I forgot what I was saying, but I'm sure it was brilliant and full of joy and
it was
whatnot.
It was joyous.
Well, all I know is whatever you just said made me think of I'm in retail, and I had a guy that's marketing an energy drink to me recently, and his energy drink isn't doing very well. But he's like, but this other guy whose energy drink is right next to his energy drink is doing really well. And he's like, yeah, but their Instagram is like crazy. Like, they really pushing it.
That's what I was going to say. Like, just building, just followers, that kind of a thing. That's one of the most important things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The clients that come to me, most of my clients are like, they've never done this before. I'm the first introduction to, hey, start thinking kind of in a business marketing mindset, and I'll kind of walk you through. Sometimes people come to me though, and they've got an audience already, and frankly, those people raise tons of money really quickly.
They got to be a dream to sign on to do a project for. They got to be, you already have a foundation. Like, that's
exactly. Exactly. It's a crowd from which to crowdfund. People always focus on the fund part and not the crowd part. And then I like to say that I put the fun in crowdfunding.
Ooh, I like that. Like balloons and
So original.
Balloons and confetti.
Glitter. Whoosh.
Yeah, make it rain, Justin. Make it rain, bro. Goddamn. Tomorrow's your birthday, right, Justin?
Dude, yes. How did you know, you sneaky researcher?
I did a lot of research to find out. Happy early. Like, I know there's belated, but how do we wish a happy early? Happy early birthday?
I'll take it. Happy early birthday.
What are you doing to celebrate?
You're officially the first, so that's good.
Cool.
My son has zero interest. he's 3, but he's like, do I get a present? Son,
you got to get him
yes,
a present so he doesn't get felt left out. That's
we wouldn't want my birthday to put him out. That's the key.
Love it. I saw too, Justin, you were in a Weird Al video, correct?
Yeah. That was
amazing.
maybe one of my most favorite things ever, because I'm a millennial 90s kid, and Weird Al was still is a god among men.
Yeah.
And I actually randomly used to be like a ballet dancer. And this call went out. They were like, we need big, chunky, rough-looking dudes. This is all my casting. People that, diamonds in the rough. And I show up and I do a dance audition. And, this was early 30s. And yeah, Weird Al's like, come on board. I'm like, what?
Which
And
video
then
was
randomly,
it?
the DP of that cinematographer of that video was the cinematographer that I had just shot my film with. And I'm like, it was a small world. It's crazy. Hollywood is like that. You randomly meet into the most random people while you're doing your career.
That's amazing. What Weird Al video was it?
It was the Handy. I'm so handy. It's some... I don't even know the original because I'm not that person that listens to that
fancy.
music.
Yes,
Iggy Azalea. I'm so fancy.
Yes.
There you go.
Love
Yeah,
it.
I remember looking that video up once during the rehearsal process.
Rob was
like, I
actually the
don't
one
look
that
like her.
showed me the original, the fancy when it first came out.
Yeah. I don't know why the lyrics just bothered me. I don't know. It just irked me to the core.
So fancy.
Oh man. What Justin though, going into films, you've made some of your own, correct?
Yeah, so you actually had my partner on a few weeks ago, Ryan Welsh.
Yes.
Oh.
And that was Outpost, the film.
Yeah, Outpost, the sci-fi, which we should be dropping here in the next month or so. We still don't have like a final date, but we're kind of building that up and figuring out what kind of launch strategy we want to do. But yeah, and I also just shot last month a big project with one of the kids from It, the movie It. And he's starring in that project, and so yeah, there's this kind of like little chugging train that is our little production company. Still trying to get that first feature off the ground. There's irons in the fire, but that's kind of how it always is. So one of them will take off, but no idea when. If nothing takes off, we're shooting something this summer. Like we're gonna grab the iPhone and do that movie, which for us is rare, but it's happening.
You got to do like your own Fire Fest.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Cheese sandwich, bro. Cheese sandwich.
Exactly. Cheese sandwiches, just some American cheese and some Wonder Bread, and I'll charge $40,000.
Yeah. I'll
that's my
retweet it.
plan.
Give me a time. I'll
That's-
retweet that, bro. I'm
That's
down.
because you're worth like 10 mil.
Exactly. And I'll do it. Everybody just needs to post a big square of vomit green.
Yeah.
That's how we'll take off.
How did you connect with Ryan Welsh in the first place, Justin?
Yeah, so we did my little, actually this really is the biggest project. So back in 2011, years ago, there was the sort of first big web series, like in terms of production value, like where the company actually spent real money on a web series. And it was through a, what's the channel called? Machinima. which was a big channel on YouTube, and it was called Bite Me, and it was a zombie comedy, and the idea was that if the zombie apocalypse happens in Los Angeles, the only guys that are going to be able to do anything about it are the hardcore gamers that have been practicing their entire lives.
Yes, I remember Ryan mentioned that to us. Yeah.
Yeah, and that to us, like the series ended up getting like 70 million views. There was a season on television. It's the only thing I've ever been recognized in a Ralph's grocery store for was that. So yeah, the first season we did the job together, and the final battle scene, we had run out of shooting time. The director was just he's a brilliant dude, but he just like had way too much on his plate. And so Welsh and I call him Welsh because my wife is named Ryan, and so it gets confusing in my head. We went and we got like pieces of broccoli and carrots and like staged this final fight scene. And that was our first sort of directing moment. And then after the second season, I had this idea for a property called Fat Ninja. And I was like, dude, you should come write Fat Ninja with me. And so we ended up writing a pilot called Fat Ninja.
I want to see Fat Ninja.
Dude, I want to see Fat Ninja. I swear, it's the property that nobody knows what to do with it because it's a little too weird and surreal, and yet everybody wants to see it. It's like, hey, if you ever get this made, you let me know.
Kind of like our show. Yeah. I want to go back though, real quick, Justin. You mentioning like raising $300,000 for a film. That sounds amazing, and it is amazing. But compared to like Hollywood budgets, how do you put out something people want to see? Because they spend upwards to millions.
Like, millions.
Like, how do you put something out on the budget that you've made to make people want to see it?
It's a really good question because there's the like secret weird world of movie financing doesn't get clearer even when you're in it. It just gets more obtuse and weird. Wow. The short answer is lots of favors and lots of bending or breaking of rules. Particularly in LA, you're required to have permits for everything. Like even if you're shooting in your own apartment, you should have a fire marshal and a permit, and it should be these 4 unions and that kind of stuff. And so you just don't do it that way. And you're generally fine and you don't get in trouble. And every once in a while it does happen and your entire project collapses because you can't, you're not legally allowed to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's this like weird gray area where you're just having to get scrappy. So for example, for Outpost, kind of the common thing that we hear about it is, how did you do this for about $40,000?
Dude, it looked amazing.
Something. Yeah, it's nuts. It's like 200 something VFX shots, and the answer was that our VFX guy, we were his first freelance gig after he left one of the major houses. He had done literally was the lead guy on like Prometheus and Harry Potter and all this giant stuff. And he just moved to America. We were his first gig, and he basically turned to us during production when one of our department heads ended up costing us about $20,000. Long story there. And he was like, I will finish this film for you guys because I believe in you and I believe in the project. It's just going to take me 3 years on my weekends. And we were like, okay. And, it took him 3 years. And we never complained once because he did easily, retail rates, several $100,000 worth of VFX. But even paying my friend rates, it would have been easily 20 to 50,000 of VFX.
Wow. Yeah, because I remember that when I had first booked Welsh, I was just like, well, this thing looks so good.
Same. We lucked out. We just kept, the bones were there and the vision were there. That's definitely what we brought to the table, but we were absolutely supported on the shoulders of incredibly talented people who were committed to seeing it get made and get done and be good.
I remember him saying too, if this does do well, you guys have entire other stories lined up for it.
Oh yeah, we just had a meeting today where we're thinking about doing a tabletop RPG, like a sci-fi homebrew, D&D homebrew. Particularly, frankly, in light of the success of this client of mine last month. And we've got a pilot, we've got all sorts of material sort of wherever people want to take this sort of little existential epic sci-fi.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, because movies used to be the thing, but we are in the platinum age of television, and so anytime a movie can be turned into a miniseries, it's people's little ears will perk up, get interested.
I was actually just gonna say, if you need playtesters for your tabletop RPG, I have a regular gaming group that would love to playtest anything. So.
Sweet, it's official. Email coming your way.
They do, dude. Last week I got here, there was shit all over the table, like from a game, and I'm like, do I sweep this off and pee on it, or what do I do with this stuff?
No, you'll have ruined hours and hours and hours of intense focused energy.
Well, that's
it is a very dick move.
I even felt bad just moving some of the stuff for me to like set my laptop up because I didn't know. I didn't know if that was like a move that somebody at work like.
Just cause the entire universe to collapse
Yeah,
around them.
yeah, bro. I didn't know what
Just
I
collapse
up.
in on itself. Everybody's lost every piece of epic armor, and
yeah, I did that, dude.
No bueno.
I took it down. What I want to say, go back real quick too to Outpost. The main character is the last citizen. I want to ask, is that the last human?
Oh, no, good question. So the sort of backstory about this is that the idea is that we've sent out representatives of the human race to the far reaches of the galaxy, looking for a place to colonize, looking for potentially extraterrestrial life. And so there's this kind of class of person, a citizen that is, the Renaissance man, but, on crack. They can do everything to an amazing level. And with them are these Aria units, which in sort of the next iteration of the mythology it's sort of like an Adam and Eve type thing. So see if I can, autonomous, reproductive, interactive android. Nice. And so if they find a place where they can colonize, she is quite literally a baby-making factory. And we realized kind of part of what we're exploring sort of behind the scenes is this sort of the ethical question of that, and sort of, sexism in the, 21st, well, I guess not 21st, 31st century kind of thing. And what do we bring with us into these new worlds and these new interactions? So that's kind of meta stuff within the short. He's basically a really awesome astronaut. It's his last day on the Outpost, looking, and they've been probing this big giant black mass of something. They can't figure out what it is. All the probes die. He tries to hack his last probe on his last day by putting some like plants in it, some organic life. And it works, except it works so well that this giant mass starts coming at them very fast, very scary, and they are essentially attacked. Kind of. You'd have to watch the short.
If
I had a long beard, I'd be slowly stroking it and going,
Slambo's stroking his beard.
Our intern is doing that for you, Justin.
Oh, good. Thanks, intern. God damn it, intern.
No problem.
He's got that for you. We train him well.
Beautiful. I need a long bearded intern. What is wrong with my life?
Just for that. Just to stroke his beard when you said something like that.
Literally, intern, sit in the corner. Don't tell me your name. Don't tell me your backstory. Just stroke that beard, brother. I got work to do.
Love it. What other projects do you have coming up, Justin? Can you tell us about any?
Yeah, so the big feature that we're kind of aiming toward, we doubt it's going to be our first because it's kind of expensive, but it is a psychological thriller horror film called Dark Winter. And basically the premise is, what if our inner demons got out and were real, and we had to fight that inner demon brought to life. And so it's probably, depending, we've had some literally Academy Award nominated producers looking at it. The big challenge so far has been it would be our first feature, and it's easily a $5 million film, and that's not usually people's first feature. So we've got a couple of other projects in various stages of development and financing that could be our first feature that sort of pops that cherry, if you will, and then we can turn around and hopefully make some of these larger properties that we have in hand. But yeah, that's kind of the one that we've been circling around. It's won a bunch of screenwriting stuff and is kind of our calling card in a sense. But yeah, lots of other irons in the fire.
That's a great concept. Like, that's something I'm really interested in, and just the fact that like that's one of those things where you can translate that easily to like a tabletop game or a video game or whatever else you want to do. Like, that's a concept that will really integrate over to those other medias.
Yeah, it has legs. I mean, people get really pumped when they read the script, and it was actually my first. I wrote the first draft, and then Welsh came in and made it so much better.
Wow.
And as partnerships work,
Yeah.
but that was like my first attempt at writing, and we just kind of managed to find something kind of interesting right out of the gate.
Nice.
Do you play video games at all?
So I'd love to say that I call myself gamer adjacent. Like, I can usually hang in the conversation because my brother and my best friend are like hardcore, every game has 200 hours logged kind of gamers. And so it's what we all talk about. I just have to know what's up. But
You just got it.
no, I don't play. Have you guys heard about this thing called Shadow?
No.
Okay, so this is cool. So I got a Mac. I got this, because I do all the filmmaking stuff, and plus I want to feel like I'm cool. So I have a giant Mac. But there's this new service called Shadow, where you can essentially rent a server, like a high-end PC, so that you can game on any device, and they have like really low latency and all this kind of stuff, or lag time, I guess. And so I'm gonna start playing, like Overwatch, for example, doesn't play on Macs, and I can now stream Overwatch to my Mac basically through this third-party proxy computer that I pay a monthly thing for. It's like $20 a month or something. I don't know how much. It's really cool. Like, and you can do it on your iOS devices. You can do it on your phone. You're basically just streaming from this computer somewhere out there. And it's really, really high end. So even if you have like kind of a crappy computer but a decent internet connection, you can play as if you had the awesome graphics card and all that stuff.
Sounds like
So
the
it's
first time
almost
you could do that.
yeah. So almost like if like say Rob had a PlayStation 9
Two?
and I had a Super Nintendo, but I wanted to play Rob's PlayStation 9 on my Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I could do that with this app.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And
That's
it's pretty baller.
Great. Yeah. I love it.
Like, especially in Macland, like I used to play Counter-Strike a lot. Like, there was a time where I was a gamer, I Diablo 2, Diablo 3, like that was Counter-Strike, like that, like early 2000s was the last time I was crazy about it. And then Diablo 3 came out and I played that like a crazy person. But other than that, as a Mac user, like I'm so limited, there are limitations. And so this is, I don't know, I think this might be how I get addicted again. So that's nice.
Nice. Gotta have that vice, bro.
Right, exactly. Just, kill the pain and the suffering inside of my heart.
Yeah. That's
No big deal.
That's
Silence
how I
the
get
voice of dread.
Oh, that's amazing. Justin, we have to wrap this up, dude, but it has been great talking to you, man.
Yeah, I thank you guys so much for reaching out, and you guys have been like awesome supporters and fans, and you did birthday research. I mean, that's awesome. I appreciate you guys bringing me on. I'll get you guys a heads up when when we have some maybe firm dates on Outpost, whether it's the short or the tabletop game, and who knows, maybe we'll do like a co thing with Welsh and I, and it'll be awesome.
That sounds awesome. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so /Justin Giddings will do the trick on most platforms. I guess all platforms that matter. Ooh. And so yeah, find me out there. I'm out and about. Outpostthefilm.com is also for people who want to kind of get into the world of the short. It's a little outdated, but it has some links to the right places, and I'll be updating it soon. And then the Kickstarterguy.com for anybody who's interested in the whole crowdfunding and that kind of thing.
Awesome. And Justin, real quick on your Google, like through email, your Google profile, there's a website there. I clicked it, and it went to some Korean or Chinese drug company. I don't know if you were aware.
Yeah, that's my side gig. I don't know
I
how
didn't know if you were owned by them or if, like, what happened.
Yeah, no, I have no. Wait, did somebody literally take? So I did like Google Plus, what, 10 years ago when that was a thing.
Yes.
Did somebody get JustinGiddings.com and it's going to some?
It's a
Chinese-
Chinese
No.
drug conglomerate, Justin. I wanted to make sure you weren't one of them.
I love that Rob just revealed this to you. Like,
Oh, this is fantastic! I'm emailing this dude and I want free stuff. I don't care what it is.
It
I don't
starts
care if I'll
going to
use
you.
it.
It's
I
got
just
like a
want
countdown, and then it goes to Hachi.
Oh
Hero
yeah,
or
no,
whatever it is.
it's a virus laden deep dark hole of sin. No one should go to JustinGiddings.com. That is a dangerous place.
It is, bro. I haven't been the same. Justin, thank you so much, dude. You're amazing.
Thanks, you guys. It's been awesome, and we'll keep in touch.
Yes.
We'll keep in touch.
As they
Cool.
say in the biz. All right,
As
brother.
they say in the biz. Peace, guys. Thank you.
Later, dude.
All right,
Thank you.
bye.